Raccoon City incident, the incident that would really change the Resident Evil franchise for the worst. But in this video today, we are going to change that and go with a theory where Raccoon City never got nuked and it was just simply abandoned, and see where that would leave us in the Resident Evil franchise to this very day. And where would that go, and what new games could we possibly bring out of this new improved series, and see where this series would take us to this day. And without further ado, let's begin. So our story begins right after Resident Evil Outbreak and Resident Evil 3 happened, where the city was left abandoned, and since the military's blockades collapsed and most of the underground sewer ways to the outskirts of the city have been either blocked off by barriers or just totally decimated. The city would just sit there, uninhabited. Maybe even some areas would be so toxic that you would need a hazmat suit or something more superior to survive in them. And then the monsters like the hunters, the lickers, the G adults, the giant spiders, and even the tyrants themselves, including, and this is just possibly just an idea, that Nemesis could have survived Resident Evil 3 and could have grown to this gigantic monster that we have yet to see, or we will probably never see, unless if Capcom creates a different game or creates a universe that is completely different from what we got. The exact same thing would be that the locations would not be decimated in Raccoon City. They would just be older, run down, and unusable. A lot of the areas that you could potentially go back to, if they were to go and do more spin-offs that included past Resident Evil 3, could have been the RPD, the Raccoon City Zoo, Raccoon City Hall, the clock tower, the park, and of course, as we all probably know, what we could have gotten. We could have also gone back to the ruins of the Spencer Mansion from Resident Evil 1. Maybe even Dr. James Marcus's lab from RE0. It's just something to look at and theorize of what on the earth Capcom were thinking. But as we probably all know, a lot of the monsters would have been totally decimated. And there's even a movie that was released in either 1999 or 2000, which was called Resident Evil 4D Executor, that you can find on the internet, which shows what Raccoon City could have looked like. Those zombies and all the other creatures could have been more mutated and more disgusting than what we see from RE0, 1, 2, and 3. It's just something to look at when you're going through these old games and see what on the earth could have happened and what could have Resident Evil's universe been, and what would happen to the demise of Resident Evil's Raccoon City in an alternative timeline only known as Resident Evil 1.5, and see what could have happened to that Raccoon City once it got its third installment. Or would it have gone in a completely different direction? Who knows? Or could there have been more survivors in that version of Raccoon City? It's just something to also think about. Like, just to think, what could have happened in Resident Evil 1.5 storyline that would have been different to RE3's? Would Jill still have escaped Raccoon City like what she did in RE3, where Nemesis would have been on her tail, or would it have been labeled as something different, or would have Nemesis could have looked totally different? It's another good theory to go through, since we don't know that much about Resident Evil 1.5. It would have also been a good new experience to what Resident Evil 3 could have turned out like. And that's the end of this video. Please like and subscribe, hit the bell for more videos, and without further ado, this is Resident Evil 1.5 Nerd, signing off. And thank you so much, guys, for all the support and all the stuff that you guys do for me. Hoping we can do 100 subscribers soon, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.